Who would like to begin?
Okay.
I said who? Oh, who would like to begin? Down front.
You're sweet.
I'm Amanda from SheAttack.com. One, good morning. Thank you for coming and waking up.
You bet.
Two, what is your favorite part about doing cons?
This part.
Okay. And
Waking up reasonably earlier than any other morning of the con to come here and talk to you.
Yeah, no. It's,
Thanks for lying.
you want to take it first?
Yeah, sure. Actually, my favorite part of the con is meeting fans. Because for the most part, it's kind of nice to travel to a new place and check out what's local. But for the most part, whenever I go on these, whenever I do these conventions, I'm not able to go out and check out Hartford or, when I'm in Detroit, I can't check out Detroit much. Usually I'm stuck in the same area. So for me, the big draw is being able to meet people and talk to fans and, get to know folks. It's a really fascinating and enjoyable process for me.
Yeah. What he said. No, it is very the most fun is meeting the fans and because let's face it, as a voice actor, it's this whole thing of people knowing who we are and wanting to meet us is fairly new. Because nobody really wanted to do this in the 80s and in the 90s. It was like the late 90s just started to happen and then it exploded in the aughts. We can say that now, right? In the aughts. Sure. You guys want to sleep so badly. So I mean, it's all of a sudden fun for a weekend. You get to be a semi-rock star depending on who's meeting you. Like either they're walking by going, I don't know him, or they walk by and they go, oh my God, and they're shaking. And that's kind of cool. So.
It is kind of neat leaving the convention, going to the airport, and there's a crowd of people not one knows who you are.
Yeah.
how surreal is that though? Like to have your normal life of like I go to the grocery store, nobody knows who I am, and then like come to a con and someone's like, DC Douglas!
Yeah, it's a drug. It's a drug.
It is?
You know what's actually funny is I'm an on-camera actor also, and I do a lot of indie films and things, and even on an indie film, it's like, okay, so who's the actor who's casting that role or what have you, but I'll be sitting there between takes, and this one film did Alpha House, and I'm sitting, but they were doing my scene yet, but I was hanging out on set, and somebody goes, so, what else do you do, DC? I'm like, well, I'm an actor, I've been an actor, and I also do voiceovers. I go, yeah, and I go, video games. I go, yeah, and I go, and he goes, what once? And I go, wow, have you heard of Resident Evil? He's like, yeah, like Albert Wesker. And he's like, and then literally, and I go, and also Mass Effect. He's like, no, and I go, who's Mass Effect? I go, Legion. And the boom guy in the other room like leans his head and he's like, you're Legion? And all of a sudden, I was like a rock star on that set for those three guys that knew it. So that was kind of cool. Sorry, I think I interrupted something, did I?
No.
Oh, okay.
Troy Ackerman, BW Media Spotlight.
Hi.
Hi. I was actually, now you make me feel bad because I was going to ask you the question. You've been doing Dragon Ball Z Abridged for quite a long time now.
7 years.
But now you guys have actually an official credit in your hands because of Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Okay, I was going to say Evolutions. I knew that was wrong. Dragon.
No, you don't.
No, wrong.
Yes, I know. See,
That movie.
I forgot where this came from.
First of all,
All you know,
connected to that thing.
all I know about it now is The Adventures of Dumpling. So what do I do? So I don't. It's the only name I remember now. But that must have been exciting, actually getting to work on the official project.
It was very exciting. When Sabat called us in, we couldn't believe that it was actually happening. It wasn't until we were in the vicinity proper, like we were at the studio, and there was the Namco Bandai representative there, who was apparently, like, had just learned about us like 2 weeks before, marathoned everything, and he was so excited to have us there. Which is hilarious, because I'm like, you work for Namco Bandai, what do you have to be excited about with us? And so, we come in and basically they set us down. Let's rewrite every one of the attacks for this character. We got one of our actors in, did a very iconic voice from the show, which Sabat asked us to do. He's like, I want this character, which is known for most people, Ghost Nappa. And so, yeah, we ended up rewriting all of his attacks because, again, he's a create a character, so you can do that. And it was a lot of fun. I really couldn't believe that they pulled us in for that.
Ulysses Lopez from Cosplay NYC. For DC Douglas. How was it playing Albert Wesker Resident Evil?
How was it? It was a tight fit. It was warm, a little wet. It was fun. It was. I mean, it's difficult because I was taking over the role from other voice actors that had had it before, and that's always not. That's always awkward. And then I had to incorporate their performances. So I mean, Albert Wesker is really the creation. Vocally, is a creation of 4 actors. Sergio Jones, and we used the first one, but I don't think we really incorporated him in because it was such a different kind of game back when the coders were directing actors, which gives you a different kind of performance. No offense to coders, you guys are great at coding. And then Peter Jessup and Richard Waugh are the other 2 voice actors behind it, both extremely talented. And I know Peter because Richard's a Canadian, but Peter and I had the same agent always had the same agent. So so I remember when I got Umbrella Chronicles, which was 2007, I think. When I saw him in the lobby one day, and I go, "You don't mind that I'm doing it, do you?" And he's like, "Have fun." He wasn't available to do that, and that's why I got the gig. And then I got lucky because the studio they were using wanted to use me again and brought me in for RE5. And then I was like, well, I've impersonated Peter Jessup, so I'm ready to go. And then we get in the booth, and then they play Richard Waugh, and they go, "So we really want to kind of keep close to this voice." I'm like, "I haven't studied that one." So the voice became a blending of Peter Jessup, Richard Waugh, myself, and then Liam O'Brien was directing, and so I was getting a lot of his influence in there. And then I was trying to put my own stamp on it, and of course he's evolving and becoming a monster. So then that's where I get to put my stamp on it. And then since then I've done, those are 2, so I've done 5 of the games since then, 4 or 5 of the games with this dead guy, which is cool. And then I've done these fan service videos, which you can find on my website, DCDouglas.com. And so now I do panels where I use the voice and all that. So it's really become my own. I have a feeling that the next game I get and I go in to do that voice, and then you compare it to what I was doing in RE5, it's going to be completely different by now, because everybody grows and changes, including you.
I had a question for Kaiser.
Yes.
I know, Dragon Ball Z is its own series in itself, but what you've done, or your team has done, you've made virtually a new story all by yourself, really. Can you just tell me a little bit about the process that you went through to make DBZ Abridged?
That's quite a long process. 7 years worth of a process, really.
Take it day by day.
Well, okay, so the first day we were up scripting until about 9 a.m. No. The idea of it was, there were a lot of people doing this thing that we call bridging, which is basically taking a property, condensing it down, scrapping the music, scrapping the lines, scrapping basically everything but the footage, and then replacing it with our own dialogue, our own music, our own sound effects, and usually trying to stick somewhat to the plot, but changing it up to make jokes and make everything kind of more farcical. I think that's the word. And so the idea with DBZA, though, was that we wanted to make this kind of shortened version of Dragon Ball in general with comedy. More comedy. Not to say that there's no comedy in Dragon Ball Z, there certainly is, but this was more, like a belly laugh, like, how do I put it? Less gag humor and more actual, like, jokes. And so basically what happened over a certain amount of time is that we finally caught our stride to balance out the comedy with a bit of drama. We wanted to tell the story as it was and keep the really big, impactful moments as they were, but then pepper the rest of it, shorten it out, and make it a little bit more, light. How do you put it? As I said, comedic. If this is coming off a little fragmented, I just woke up and forced food in my stomach, and now I'm here.
No, thank you so much. Yeah.
You got food.
So I have 2 questions. One is, for DBZ Bridge, it feels more like a series than just sort of like a riff track. Like I've always felt that Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge is more of a riff track than a story.
Yeah.
What do you think of some of the other Bridge series that are on, or do you not watch any of them?
I watch a few of the other ones. There's a Sword Art Online one that's very good. I was actually in that one. And Purple Eyes, if you ever check out his stuff, very good.
Okay, and then the second question is, you guys just recently launched your Patreon. Recent being a very vague word because it was a couple of months back.
Yeah, about 2 months with it at this point.
One, how shocked were you about like the support that you got from your fan base? And two, why did you choose Patreon over like doing like a Kickstarter or something like more of a Kickstarter, just bankrolling off of that?
Well, yeah. To answer your first question, yes, completely floored, absolutely. When we put down the Patreon, we were expecting we'll probably reach about 6,000 and then maybe increase over time. And when we first released the Patreon without a video on our channel, yeah, we got about like 5,000-6,000. We released the video and it was up to 12 in about a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I was following it.
Yeah, it floored me. I had no idea that people were going to pour this much support. And the reason we went to Patreon is that for the longest time, a lot of people involved in the process were not getting paid. They were doing it because they loved the show and they were putting in all this time and effort just to make it happen and make other projects happen. But we need to get away from just doing regular parodies of Dragon Ball Z abridged, Dragon Ball Z and like other anime, because it's not sustainable. I mean, if we're going to become a professional outfit, we have to expand and we have to create original material, our own IPs. So the first thing that we had to focus on was making sure that the people who were working with us got paid, and then bring new people on. With Kickstarter or Indiegogo or any of those, that you just amass this lump sum and then it's moved over to you, it's a little bit more difficult because, well, it's kind of hard to get that much money together. I mean, you're asking a lot of people to put in money, but with a Patreon, you're basically asking a small group of fans who want to support you, hey, do you mind putting in the money so these people get paid for new projects that come out over time? And it's been wonderful for us because Final Fantasy VII Mission Abridged is now ahead of schedule. We're currently working on an original series that I'm really excited about.
I haven't cast it yet.
Well, for the most part, we're working with a group of we have something to call you.
Ooh. The daggers.
It's okay.
last
West
one.
Coast, he's East Coast.
I'm Dallas.
Oh, you don't? Sorry, you don't. That's East Coast to me.
Different kind of Washington. Yeah.
No, West Coast, West Coast. I grew up in California.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Where?
Really?
Really?
California.
Wow.
Right?
All right. Well, then that's an improvement to go to Dallas. So I'm not bashing Dallas. I'm sure it's a very nice place.
Okay, so my question is for both of you. I'm from Husband Mercy, and I'd like to know, whenever you see cosplayers of your characters that you've ever voiced come over to you, what's it like? What's it like to you?
I get aroused. Sorry, I'm still doing my late night panel.
Wow.
It's perfect.
I know it's the morning. This won't play locally on Hartford, I don't think. So, I think it's cool. It's very cool, and especially some of them are just amazing at what they can do. I've only seen, I think, 2 or 3 Legions in the years that since that game has come out, because that's a more difficult outfit to do. But I see lots of Weskers, and that's always cool. So much so that there were some fans of Philadelphia that were also filmmakers, and they cast me in their film as one of the leads as a serial killer. And because they were fans of Wesker, I said, and I had like 6 months to get ready for the film, I said, why don't we do a little nod to Wesker since you guys are fans of it? How about I dye my hair blonde? And they're like, oh, you do that? And I'm like, yeah. So I worked out, got really tan, dyed my hair blonde for that. It was a week shoot for me, and I did the film. So it's so that's the closest I've actually cosplayed my own character. So. But it's cool.
For the most part, when it comes to cosplaying characters that I've voiced, that's if anyone cosplays characters from Dragon Ball Z. So at that point, yeah, I've seen a lot of them, but they're not characters I've voiced, really. They're characters that the official actors have voiced. Although, that being said, that every once in a while I do get a Trunks cosplayer that comes up and says, like, I love you as Trunks, you're the best. I'm like...
All right, so where will we be seeing you today?
I think I have to throw up, so I'll be in the bathroom. No,
And that's how you officially end ConnectiCon. You're throwing up, yeah.
No, I think I'm going to signing in a half hour after this. I gotta get some food first, and then I'll be on the floor signing until I think about 2 or so, and then I'm off into the great blue yonder.
I'm going to my booth in the exhibitors hall to hawk our wares.
But watch Z Nation in October. I have a guest star spot on that, and then a movie called Smart Ass with Joey King is coming out, and I'm in that. I'm just trying to plug all my things, and the rest of the information you can find on Facebook or on DCDouglas.com. Thank you.
And you can find our stuff at team4star.com or on YouTube at Team4Star.
And you can find me all weekend long.
They'll be in the bathroom as well.
Yeah, I'll be holding his hair back. Whatever, because I got little hair. You got more hair than I do. So give it up for DC Douglas and more stuff.